This is my third video, and today we will study about postulates of quantum mechanics and its measurements. Okay, so let's start. So today we will first start with postulates, and then we'll go to measurements, that how measurements take place, and the postulates of quantum mechanics are very important. Actually, I want also to make clear that from this chapter, every time in just or TIFR one question come. So this is very important chapter to understand the basis of quantum mechanics, and also according to the competitive point of view. So let's go to our first slide. So okay, so we will study about postulates. See, every theory is based on some postulates, and the postulates are we came up with from our very long experience, and they can't be tested, but the results based on the postulates can be tested, and we can test it on labs or etc. That any mode of any physical mode that we can do to test them. Okay, so first we will start from the state of the system. So the state of a system, what we talk about is like, see, the state of any physical system by a state vector psi t in a Hilbert space H. Okay, but actually in this slides, the postulate slides, I have written everything, every word or every line, because every word here has a meaning, so it becomes very lengthy. So let's now go with this. Like, how do we measure quantities in quantum mechanics? Okay, so let's start with to understand the state of a system, what we meant by a state of a system. Okay, so like in classical mechanics, if we talk about if we have to describe something, we have energy, force, okay, or many quantities, pressure, work. So in quantum mechanics, the information of a particle or a wave function is stored in this state vector, or you can say a wave function. This is a state, this is not a wave function. Wave function is denoted by psi, but this is a state vector which is known as psi t. This is analogous to any that you can say that you can say that eigenvector. I will talk about what is an eigenvector, but you can at this time you can take it as granted, like you have eigenvalue equation, that is a x is equal to lambda x. Okay, so this is an operator, x is an eigenstate. You can also write it as like this. So this is an eigenfunction, or you can say eigenstate. Here t is a function that is it can also be related with time. So here meaning of psi t is that is the state vector that can also be related with time, also give information about the position of a particle, or you can say at any time t. Okay, the meaning of Hilbert space, that is Hilbert space, I will clear in later time, but because it will take another video to explain Hilbert space, so I will do it in my next video. But at this point of time, our main concentration is on understanding the postulates. Okay, so as I told, it contains all the needed information about system, so I have labeled it with the green color. Okay, so this is the first postulate. So I hope you have understand the first postulate. Now let's move to the second postulate, observer and operator. So what it means that to every physical measurable quantity, what is measurable quantity? Measurable quantity is your energy, your position, potential energy, kinetic energy, These are all Mayer quantities that you can measure. Okay, so every physical or measurable quantity we have attached, there is a corresponding Hermitian operator. Okay, there is a corresponding Hermitian operator. So let's understand what it means. Okay, so now if we have to measure the kinetic energy, okay, no, or let's say we have to measure position. So we have to measure position. Okay, so if we have to measure a position, what we can do in quantum mechanics, there is a operator attached to it that we can measure. Okay, so you have to understand that we are not measuring position, we are actually measuring position, but with the help of operator, corresponding operator that is we have given, that is assigned to position, that is uh, x, or in some cases you can say x. Okay, so uh, like if we have to measure momentum, momentum p operator, it is given by minus iota h cut curly by curly x, or in 3 dimensions it is given as minus iota h cut del. Okay, so you know del what is, it is curly by curly x plus I, and so del operator is given with this. So like if you have to make kinetic energy, this is in one dimension, sorry, in x direction. So these are the measurable quantities, and all are also other quantities are there, but I have given a few examples at position, momentum, kinetic, and what the operators. Actually, kinetic energy operator is defined by T operator in some books, or you can look it also. I forget about what is denoted by. I think it is denoted by T. Okay, so now this is the meaning of observable. What are the operators? And now what is the meaning of Hermitian operator? What is meaning of Hermitian operator? See, Hermitian is that and that we study in matrices like Hermitian matrix, no, anti-Hermitian. Okay, that give real eigenvalues. That give real eigenvalues. Okay, so that is the meaning of Hermitian operator, and every variable quantity is a corresponding Hermitian operator. These are x is also a Hermitian operator, momentum is also a Hermitian operator, kinetic energy T is also a Hermitian operator. Okay, so this is the meaning of this line. And last I have written whose eigenvectors form a complete basis. This is very important. I have highlighted with blue what is the meaning of this complete basis. So you have to understand it. Uh, this is very important to understand complete basis. So if I have a wave function and it is a superposition of many eigenfunctions like c1, phi1 plus c2, phi2 plus c3, phi3 plus c4, phi4. Okay, so cn, phi n. Okay, so this is the meaning of a complete basis. Actually, it is a very broad meaning, but I have given you some idea what it means, that complete basis. It also have many theorems attached to it, that like it should be Hermitian and real eigenvalues and everything. But the complete basis is that you can you can write psi, right, that is psi in terms of you can expand psi in terms of phi. That what it is, that you can expand in terms of psi. Okay, you have expand psi in terms of, this is the meaning of complete basis, where in my previous video I have discussed about what is C1, C2, but I will also discuss in this video later on. But at this time point, I want to mainly my focus is on what is complete basis. Okay, so this C1, C2, C3 are the numbers. Okay, so this is the meaning of complete basis. Now what is third postulate? This is very important, that measurements and eigenvalues of operators. Okay, so the measurements of an an, what is an here is an eigenvalue. Okay, the measurement of an an, a is represented by the action of operator a on the state psi t. Okay, the only possible result of each measurement is one of the eigenvalues an of operator a. If the result of the measurement of operator a on state psi t is an, the state of immediately after the measurement will changes to psi n. Okay, let's discuss it. What it says. See, here we have to study about operator a, psi t, psi n. What it means, like if we have operator a, I have told that operator has no its single meaning. If it is attached to an wave function, then it only have a meaning. So let it operate on psi t. Let it operate on psi t. So if the operator, if the nature of a on psi t give eigenvalue an, and it gives it changes the nature of a wave function, like psi. It not changes the actually not changes the nature, but like if you operate on psi t and gives another and measurement changes to psi n and measurement changes to psi n, what it means, it is very important to understand it. It means, like see, psi t, psi here, psi is, you can see this, you can take an analogy that psi is this. So when I will do measurement, it is this wave function is superposition of many waves, many wave functions. So when I will do measurement, will give result correspond that it will collapse into one of the wave function. And beforehand, no one can able to tell that what it will be. Only you can guess that it can be phi 1, phi 2, phi 3, whatever is made up of. But before the experiment, you can't tell. And after the experiment, it will collapse into one of these. It will collapse into one of these. And it is total based on the probabilistic interpretation that you will never know beforehand. And see, if it like say if I operate on psi, it gives eigenvalue an, and it gives to let's say it collapses to phi 1. So this is the meaning of this. Okay, so this is the meaning of this, that what it corresponds to psi t or an psi n. Okay, psi n. So an is the here eigenvalue, corresponding eigenvalue. I can say after collapse. Okay, so and later on we will study it. Every wave function will not collapse. Every wave function, like if like every wave function will not after the measurement changes to psi n, psi t, or time evolution will change to psi n. Not every wave function will do this. We will study later on that like energy, like particle in a box energy is your like that if you measure energy, it is definite. So it is definite that you can measure it with certainty. It will not change to anything else. In particle in a box, momentum is in plus and minus. So later on we will study this, but I will come in later on. At this point of time, it should be clear that what are the meaning of this, that what is the meaning of this statement that operator A operate on psi t and will give a value of psi n after the measurement. Okay, so now, so this is the meaning I have written. Now the point is, how can you measure a, how can you calculate a, and I have told also that c and phi and that a and how you can calculate. uh, or corresponding to the wave function I have written, you calculate c1 is equal to like phi 1 psi t. So this you can calculate. Okay, so at this point of time I think it will be clear that what is the meaning of this. Okay, now we'll come to our fourth postulate, probabilistic outcome of the measurement. That how you can measure the probability that which one that the wave function will collapse into which one, phi 1, phi 2, phi 3. That how and c1 c2 will be the attached mod of square will be attached, the will be given you the probability of the corresponding eigen function in which it will collapse. So uh, we can study this probability. What I mean you that if psi n psi t give you this, and this what I have done normalizing the wave function. I have normalized it. Every wave function should be normalized. Okay, this every state of system every state of system is normalized. Okay, so now this I have done, and you can calculate, you can also calculate a n. This means a n mod of k here, and this is psi. Okay, so this is the meaning of this, and the act of measurement changes the state of system from psi to psi n. Okay, this means this that operator a act on psi t will again give you changes the state of the system from psi n that it collapse into one of these. Then if if the system is already in the eigenstate, this is the meaning I want to tell, that if system is already in one of the, we know that it is in phi 1, then we can tell it with certainty that it will be in phi 1. That if before the experiment we know that it is in phi 2, then it is possible that we can tell with certainty that is phi 2. What it means, that if the function is already in psi n, then it gives the value a n and psi n. Okay, so this is the meaning of this. Not I have already told that not every state of the system will change. Some states, in some cases we can tell that it will be after the measurement, it will be in that state only, but it should not be the superposition of a wave. It should not be superposition. In superposition, we can only tell the probability. Okay, so this is the meaning of this postulate. Now we can go with our last postulate, the time evolution of the system. Time evolution of the system, it is basically the Schrodinger equation that we can't derive Schrodinger equation. I have told you in my first video, so we can write. I have explained this point, so there is no need to explain again. Iota h cut curly by t. So it means iota h cut e is equal, sorry, this is not iota h cut, this is what is e psi is equal to h cut psi. So this what it means. So I've explained in my first video in detail. You can check it, and see from there what it means. So coming to our next slide, it means we will go to measurement in quantum mechanics. Okay, so let's discuss about in detail that how we can measure quantities in quantum mechanics. So in classical physics, we can measure like we can measure position and momentum simultaneously. Like there is a car, so we can at that time simultaneously we can tell the position and the momentum of a car. But in quantum mechanics, if you go to the microscopic particle, you can't tell position and you can't simultaneously measure position and momentum. But this is a very vague general term I am telling. We will discuss about uncertainty principle in detail, where we learn that we can measure also position and momentum simultaneously, but the condition is they should be in different directions. But this will be in later point or in next video probably. But in this we will go to our next point, quantum description. In quantum theory, I have told state is a general superposition of several such states. Like I have told it here. You can. I have told in this. I have told that is a superposition of many states. Okay. So where psi1, psi2 are the wave functions, c1, c2 are the numbers. So I have explained this. Now moving to next slide. Uh, okay, let me explain one more thing. Like see, if you have let me choose different color. Like if you have psi and what I can take C2 psi 2. Mod of C1 square. Mod of C1 square will give the probability of psi1, that if after the measurement psi1 will come, it will give the probability. You can't measure the probability like psi1 mod square. You need the numbers, like the C1. You can measure it with C1. Mod of C1 square will give the probability that after the main particle will be on the state of the system will be collapsed to psi1 or psi2. So according to this is psi2, and mod of psi2 square will give the probability of psi2. And what are x1, x2? X1, x2 are the eigenvalues. Like if I operate position operator, let's operate position operator. Position operator says x will operate on psi 1, give x1 psi 1. Operator operate give you x2 on psi 2. Okay, so these x1, x2 are the eigenvalues. And what is the probability that x1 will it give after the measurement x1, x2? Probabilities will be measured by c1 square and mod of c2 square. I've written here also, when the experiment gives a value x1, the state would collapse into psi1 after a measurement. What is probability? C1 mod of c1 square. And when the experiment gives a value x2, the state would collapse into psi2. And what is the probability? That is c2 mod of square. Okay, so this is the point. So this is the last slide, but I want to explain here that let's understand this in detail. Okay, let's understand in detail. Like see, if let's consider particle in a box. Okay, let's consider particle in a box. So let's study particle in a box. The wave function this I have told. uh, See the equation, that this equation 1. Okay, let's consider equation 1. This is the actually the stationary state. I have told you in my that video or first video that when we are deriving, and that not sorry not deriving, when we shown the steps of Schrodinger equation, then I've that come with the that stationary state solutions and stationary state solutions. You can watch that video of that video. In this I've explained that what this equation means, that psi n x, and this is the your corresponding to that your variable x, and this is time function. This is time function and this is variable x. That is the solution that of your Schrodinger equation. Okay. Uh, so now we know that in particle in a box, psi x is given as under root 2 by a sine n pi x by a. This is a symmetric. That is your so 0 to a, b equal to 0, where infinite, and this is the case. Okay, so here we can easily see that this is a state of definite energy. What I mean is that see here I will show you that e I omega t, or we can write it as e minus I e t by h cut. It means that how many times you measure, it does not, it means that it doesn't matter how many times you measure energy E, it will give the same value corresponding to the different quantum numbers. Like En is equal to is given by n square pi square h cut square upon 2n square. Okay, I write it properly. 1 minute. N square pi square h cut square on 2m a square. Okay, so it doesn't matter that how many times you measure energy, it will give the corresponding energy. So you can measure it with definite, so you can measure it with because it is in I have told that every wave function after the measurement will not change to psi t. So this is the example. So you can measure the energy definitely. But what about momentum? What about momentum? So I can write it again as ei kmx minus sorry um, minus e minus I kmx. So if you will write this one in the form of 2, in the form of, you can say, momentum space, then you will see that we have two values of momentum. So we have two values of momentum. So we have two values of momentum, that is in plus p sorry plus x and minus x. Plus x direction minus x direction. So the chances of are 50-50, that at 50%, that at 50, that half time you measure it will come with plus x, or half time you measure it will minus x. But you can't, before the experiment you can't tell it that it will be in that ikx, or sorry, in positive or negative. After the measurement you have measured, it will collapse into one of them. It will collapse into one of them. So after that you can tell that yeah, it is in positive, and after the collapse negative term, or if you make a positive term, then after you get positive x, then negative will not be there. And if in another experiment you give and get negative x direction of momentum, then positive will not be there. So there are 50-50% chance. So in this case, operator A on psi and t will give you eigenvalue an, and what it will change the state of the system. It will change the state of the system. It will change the state of the system. So this is the meaning of this. So this is the meaning of this. In detail, if you want, that P that after measurement P can take values minus h cut kn, okay, or P will take value as h cut kn. So there are 50% chance of this and 50% chance of this. But again, if you talk about energy, then you can measure it with certainty. You can measure it with certainty. So you can measure it with certainty. So this is basically we have to tell you about told you about that particle in a box. So I have given you the example of particle in a box. That what is the meaning of this I have told after collapse, and this meaning. So okay, so I hope now it will be clear to you that how do we take measurements in quantum mechanics. Another interpretations are also there. Many world interpretation and other terms also are there. But I've not go to that interpretations because this is the most popular one. This is the most popular one interpretation. Okay. So if okay, I can give you an idea of many world interpretation. Okay, like it says which that it assume universal wave function that describe all particles in that universe. When measurement of any sort takes place, whether of human origin or natural origin, the universal wave function does not collapse. The universal wave function does not collapse. Okay, so like I can give you an idea that every experiment causes universe to branch into alternative timelines. So when we carry out experiment, the universe splits into one timeline in which the photon goes into detector A, or you can say any other experiment you might be interested. So like I have taken that detector is emitting a photon, so the universe splits into one timeline in which the photon goes into detector A, and second timeline in which the photon goes into detector B. So that and also it says that two lines not no longer communicate, but this interpretation is not very popular one, but it is also there. This is also interpretation of quantum mechanics, that how the wave function, how you measure quantities, but this one is basically the general one and the most famous one, and in all textbooks like many standard textbooks explain this interpretation. So let's keep this video up to here only, and this is the main how do you measure quantities. So I would also like to thank where I studied this, and uh, these textbooks help me to understand the quantum mechanics to basic to advanced level, and from where my uh, views and problem solving skills improved. These are Northern Jet Li and David J. Griffiths. So I want to highly acknowledge these two books, and you can also refer these two books. But also there are many other books, but I haven't read that one, so I cannot recommend. But you obviously there are many other good books in quantum mechanics. So this video is up to here only. So if I have left something, I will cover in my next video, or if you haven't understand something, you can comment it, and I will definitely take it and will try to explain in my next video. So thank you.